Timothy Patrick Cronin. They took the O off. I wish they didn't. It's Timothy Patrick Cronin. Just has this beautiful, beautiful song to it. Son of Lawrence Anthony Cronin Jr. My dad, Larry Cronin. He's a legend within the Friendly Sons. You know, he was one of the 5 guys that started the St. Patrick's Day Parade. And I remember talking to him about, you know, what made him do that. You know, he said he came out here from Buffalo after I was in the service. While I was in the service, he came out here and visited and loved San Diego. Was from Buffalo, New York. Absolutely, he has 6 daughters and me. So I have 6 sisters. He had 7 sisters and 1 brother. So there was just women everywhere, all the time, in every party, everything we ever did with family. It was tons and tons of women. When he came out here after I got out of the service, he wanted to start the St. Patrick's Day Parade. He moved here because he came to visit me when I was in the Navy up at Miramar, BF-124, Top Gun outfit, and he just absolutely loved it and was determined to move out here, which he did a few years later. So he came out here in 1978 or 9, and then started the St. Patrick's Day. I believe it was the first year, it was 1980. Him and Jim Foley, Frank Mulcahy, Chuck Fox, and Vince Lynch, and my dad. And I asked my dad, how did you even think of doing something like that? He said, man, I couldn't believe this is one of the sixth largest city in the United States and they don't have a parade, a St. Patrick's Day parade. That's terrible. So the first thing he did is he went to the mayor's office, he said, and he said, why don't you have a St. Patrick's Day parade? The mayor was Pete Wilson. He says, you're right, why don't we? Let's do it. And then he thought, okay, how do you start a parade? And he wanted to get the mayor approval first. Then he realized, if we can get the police department to say they'll participate in the parade, and if he can get the fire department and get them to participate in the parade, and then get the Marine Corps, because this is a big military town, get the Marine Corps and the United States Navy and get the officers and admirals to say they're in. He got all these top guys to agree to do it, and Jim Foley, of course, had the Larney Stone Pub. He had a lot of influence from a lot of the leaders in town. Chuck Fox had a lot of influence in town. So he had all these influencers. When my dad walked into a room, he could own the room. He was unafraid of, you know, becoming the star of the show or the biggest voice in the room. Everywhere. If you ever hung out with my dad, you would be at some point breaking out in song. You'd be singing songs, and Irish songs for sure. He would get a party going faster than anybody I ever knew. So anyway, the fact that I got involved with my dad in the parade, my 6 sisters, 3 of them were still back in Buffalo, so 3 of them here, and my nieces and nephews and everybody else that could participate became involved. And my dad bought this old mail carrier Buick from the United States Postal Service. You know, those little Jeep-like looking things that the steering wheel's on the other side. He bought one of those, painted it white and put shamrocks on it, entered it into the parade, and had the music blaring out of that thing, and had that sitting out in front of his yard the whole year round. He was a super proud Irishman. Our whole family, every single thing we did was centered around Irish music and Irish songs. And it was always a fun place to be around when my dad was in his party mood.